my links, and it's definitely not easy. I mean, it's not the hardest, right? I've been homeless in a lot of states, and I'm pretty young, but I've been homeless in a lot of states. And it's not the hardest place to be because there's so many people, but it's also one of the harder places to be because there's so many people.
That makes sense. Almost kind of like that Atlanta.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many people, there's because of the amount of people, there's lack of people to help. Right? But when you're in smaller places, because there's lack of people to help, there's lack of people.
All right. So I get what you're saying. So basically, because it is so many people, you can't get the help everybody.
You can't get the help you need. But in smaller places, in smaller states, because there's less people, there's less people. You know what I mean? There's more people getting help, but there's less people to help. So there's less, what is the word for it? When, like, things you need, there's less people. There's less resources.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's more help, less resources. More resources out here, but less help.
Most definitely. And I do feel you on that. So, you say that you've been homeless in a few different states, which means you're not from here, are you? Where are you from?
So I was born in Tennessee, raised in California.
Okay. From Tennessee?
Yeah.
Because you're the only 10 I see. Okay, then. So you say you was raised in California, though.
Yeah.
Okay. What age you went to California?
I was about 9 years old when I moved to the state of California.
Okay. So you got that good Cali life.
Something like that. See, I grew up in the system, and even before that, my whole life, like growing up with my family, we were homeless.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? My mom worked a lot, luckily, so we lived in and out of hotel rooms. But I came from a not very great background.
Gotcha. So, how early do you remember being homeless?
I remember being about 6 or 7 years old, running around like in hotel parking lots.
Gotcha.
I remember like living with my grandparents at one point. But I think I can only remember one time when my mom, like, we've had a house of our own, and it was because it was really old and fucked up.
Gotcha.
They wanted somebody to take it because they didn't want to get rid of it because it was old. You know what I mean? It's like an antique or whatever.
Most definitely. So how old are you now?
I'm 22.
22. You are pretty young. So you were born in Tennessee. You've been to Cali. I know you've been to Florida, but that's all your states.
No. So I grew up in the system, right? And I'm labeled kind of different than most. And when it comes to like group homes and stuff, I was put in higher security group homes.
Gotcha.
So there's less of, not just that. I have issues. I have mental health issues.
Okay.
I never got a chance in the foster system. They were scared that they were going to put me with family and I was going to kill myself.
Gotcha.
I was 11 years old when I first died.
When you first died?
Yeah, it took my life. I was bad to think for like 2 minutes and something seconds. I've been hurting myself since I was like 9. I've been going to hospitals since I was like 8, 7. So they had me. There's many high security like group homes in any state.
Right.
Jesus. So I think there's like 3 in the state of California, 3 or 4, and I'd been through those, ran through those.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've been to group homes, ran through those, and so they moved me to a lot of states. I've lived in Pennsylvania, I live in Ohio, I live in California, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Texas. I think that's it.
So, question, because you say this all happened, all the moving around happened while you were in the system.
Yeah.
So when did you get into the system?
I was 11 years old. So when everything happened, I was 11, and they approached my mom because again I'd been in and out of psych hospitals from a young age. So they approached my mother and told her that they were thinking about taking custody from her, and she gave it to me. She told me when I woke up, she told me that she didn't want anybody in her family to search, needed attention so bad that they did something like that.
Oh, wow. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 younger brothers. I got 2
So
younger brothers and I got 2 half-sisters, yes ma'am.
Got you. Okay. So you're 11 years old, you go into the system, you go through this life in the system, and nobody is really sincerely there for you. Do you get SSI or anything? Especially with
So no, because I was terminated unsuccessfully from probation at 18, and then I was like, I AWOL'd from my group home and like left the state. And so when they finally looked at my case. I mean, technically, I still can get these things, but it's not something that I've had the ability to look into.
Right. So, because you say when you were 18, so you caught a charge when you were a minor, and it followed you into being an adult?
Well, I caught several charges as minor. So I was either in a group home or I was in juvie.
Gotcha.
That was my life.
What type of stuff did you go to juvie for?
Mostly aggressive behavior.
Like fighting and stuff. Yeah. So that's still not enough to me to be like, you can't get a check to survive.
I mean, no, I most definitely can. Definitely can. It's just not something I've been able to get. Not even just that. It's not that I don't want to. I said I have no birth certificate, no ID, no social security. Can't get one without the other. And then I've never had an ID in the state of Florida. I've never had anything. I'm not from here. And it's also getting to and from,
those places. So, question: Have anybody ever told you like, why you need a birth certificate? You gotta start there, right? So you gotta go all the way back.
You have to have one to have the other.
Wow.
Right. So even if I wanted to order a birth certificate online, you need a photocopy of your ID.
So in that rate, you would have to go to Tennessee. Now look, I'm gonna keep it a beat with you because I was born in Savannah, Georgia, and I had that issue for the most part too. And I know this is gonna sound like a freak accident, but hear me out here. My grandfather was 94 years old. 94, has not seen me since I was like 4 or 5 years old. But they told him I needed my birth certificate, so he drove down there and applied for it and got it.
I wish.
So that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't have. Uncle. I've been on my own my entire life. I've been by myself. My mom was the last person to have my documents, according to say so. And when I asked her to send them to me, they got lost in the mail.
So, do you know what hospital you were born at?
No.
Gotcha. So that is gonna take some research. So I'm a be nosy on the internet and see how you can really do it. If I could figure out something different, then, and especially with this day and age, everything that's going on,
it should be a lot easier than it really is. Again, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I've been working my damnedest to get it, because I'm sure if I was, I would.
Right.
I'd have it by now, but it's definitely something that's been tough.
So tell me what it's like surviving on a day-to-day basis out here, because now you're in Florida and you have to survive out here. So what has it been like for you?
One thing I always tell people is it's not always where you want to be, it's where you got to be. So it's a lot of jumping from place to place, from person to person, as a woman, from person to person. It's a lot of accepting things that you wouldn't accept from anybody ever at any point. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn to put things aside and, take things different than you would.
Most definitely. And as far as being out here, because this used to be old West Tampa, how long you say you've been here?
I've only been out here for a couple of years.
Couple years. So were you here when it was the projects and stuff down there? So this used to be like a predominant.
This place it used to be jumping, and even from just the span of time that I've been here, it is so much different right now because they're trying to rid things off the streets and take the city of Tampa is trying to whiten the neighborhood, for lack of better wording. Right. You know what I mean? They're trying to make things better in their way, and it's working, but not in the right ways.
Gotcha. What do you mean not in the right way?
They're putting everybody in jail. You know what I'm saying? And they're putting the people who in jail who are, though they have play and part in the problem, they're not the activators or starters of the problem. You know what I'm saying? They do what they do in order to get what they need, and leave it at that. And a lot of the times they help more than they take. Right, you know what I mean? So they're taking the wrong people off the streets.
Right. That is something pretty common. They'll leave the ones that really need to be in there out here. So with that, what kind of drugs are most active that they're trying to make sure that they're...
Crack.
You say crack, I say Molly.
Crack and Molly. That's what the city is for.
Yeah. So what's the difference? Do you know the difference between crack and Molly?
Crack stems from cocaine. Molly is an MDMA strain.
Got you. So the whole time I'm thinking it was I don't know
so
why
crack
they
is made. Crack is made out of cocaine, and Molly is made from MDMA. Right. So Molly, like an ecstasy pill. It's kind of like they make it into a rock form with different chemicals and it's a simple.
Got you. And I thought it was a pill because I remember Trinidad James saying pop the Molly on sweat. Yeah. So I'm thinking this is a pill.
It's a pill. But it's a pill. They have a pill form.
Gotcha. So do you think if you had to say let's say, because you say you're 22 now, right? Let's say you were 18-year-old, well, matter of fact, 14-year-old Jasmine, because at this point, or Lynx, sorry, because at this point, you were in foster care, which really kind of means you on your own in a sense. I know when I was in foster care, when I turned 10, that's when I realized I was on my own. Like, my mama not coming back for me. So, at 14, if you could go back to her, what would you tell her, knowing everything that you know now?
Stay strong within yourself, because the way that you feel is important. The way that you act is important. The way that you move is important.
Yeah.
You are important.
Yeah.
Right? So stay strong. Stand strong in your own thoughts. Stay strong in your independent mind, because everybody is independent minds, right? We are not, as a society, as humans, made to like ants. You know, we're not made as a common with one mindset, with one thinking process.
Right.
Stand strong within your independence and your independent thought, and don't ever be afraid to stand up and voice for yourself. You know, speaking for yourself is very important. You will not get nowhere if you can't learn how to communicate for what you need.
Right. They'll step all over you every time, huh?